The man slipped quietly into his wife's bedroom. He froze when he noticed her sleeping in a strangely stiff position. Seeing how late it already was, he tapped the bed, trying to wake Lisa. But Lisa didn't respond at all, so he grabbed her sleeve and lifted her hand. Jack gasped and covered his mouth in shock. For a second, he wondered if his billionaire wife was dead. With that terrifying thought in mind, he nervously placed his fingers in front of her nose. The faint breath he felt wasn't enough to reassure him, so he held his own breath and leaned closer.
왜?
뭐니?
Jack only acted like that because he was tired of being called a freeloader living off his wife. But with Lisa's strong personality, he never dared complain. Jack had graduated from a top university in Korea, and working at a major corporation should have paved the way for a bright future. Until an intern walked into his life. He saw the new girl, Lisa, kicking the printer in frustration one day, and being the kind person he was, he stepped in to help. He had no idea Lisa was actually the boss's daughter. He even pulled her aside on the stairwell, telling her interns should set a good example and admitting he always felt weirdly anxious whenever he saw her being scolded by a manager. Little by little, the two started falling for each other. On Christmas Eve, it began to rain, and Jack, relying on the fact that his family owned a ranch, finally worked up the courage to confess. He told Lisa,
인턴 잘리고 재취업 안 돼도 내가 당신 책임질 수 있다.
Then he pushed the umbrella into her hands and ran into the rain with just his briefcase over his head. After saying everything he'd been holding in, Jack felt incredible. Lisa was moved by the sincerity of his gesture and agreed to date him the next day. But when Jack learned who she really was, he was devastated. He resigned and went back to his hometown. Lisa, however, refused to let him disappear. When Jack walked out of his house, a helicopter suddenly landed on his parents' ranch. And the person who stepped out was Lisa. He never expected her to chase after him for their relationship. At that moment, social status and background meant nothing. Nothing could stop him from running toward her and pulling her into his arms. After they married, Jack became the envy of everyone as the rich family's son-in-law, but only he knew how miserable it felt. At work, he was a director in the legal department, yet his wife, the company president, ordered him around like an assistant. People were already used to seeing this dynamic. Lisa often lost her temper without reason, forcing him to revise carefully planned proposals. Whenever he tried to explain himself, she questioned him instead. If they were simply boss and employee, Jack wouldn't have complained. But his boss was also his wife. And the worst part was that he had zero authority at home. His father-in-law even demanded that their future child take Lisa's family name. To make things worse, his meddling brother-in-law told the parents that Jack and Lisa weren't just fighting at work. They were practically living apart. He only stopped talking when Lisa blew up, but then he shifted the blame onto Jack again, telling him not to do anything outside his assigned duties. Jack tried to explain that they each had their own responsibilities, but the brother-in-law wouldn't let it go. Just when Jack wanted to defend himself, his mother-in-law cut him off. He stayed quiet. After all, he had no real position in this family. Then his mother-in-law suggested that they should hurry up and have a child, so they could silence the rumors about their marriage falling apart. His father-in-law added an unbelievable condition. The child had to take their family name. Seeing his wife sitting there as if nothing was wrong, Jack finally lost all hope in this household. Everything he'd been holding back exploded at once. That night, he got into a huge fight with Lisa, then stormed out of the house alone. But he didn't know. Lisa had gone straight to her brother and gave him the beating he deserved.